Freshwater Fishery Society of BC, Go Fish BC on Shaw TV with your host Brian Chan from the Freshwater Fishery Society of BC. Go Fish BC is brought to you in part by Freshwater Fishery Society of BC, River City Marine, and Surplus Herbies.
Because so much of our early spring fly fishing is done in shallow water, it's an easy system to set up. It's floating lines and sinking leaders. So oftentimes we're using full floating lines, strike indicators, with or without a strike indicator. And a strike indicator just suspends your fly at very precise depth zones. So shallow water fishing for fly fishing in the spring, a 9.5 to 10 foot fly rod. If we're fishing deeper water, like anywhere from 12 to 15 feet of water, which is still considered shallow in a lake, you can continue to use a floating line, or you can switch to slow sinking lines or intermediate sinking lines, which allow a fly line to pull your fly down to get down to the deeper parts of the lake, and then you do your retrieves to move it through the water. So pretty basic setups to get you on the water and catch some fish. Oh, we got a really big fish on here. That's actually that's my first cast on Jocko Lake this year. Early season fly fishing on our interior lakes means fishing in shallow water and fishing with food sources that are available, ones that have survived the winter and the trout can easily find, because right at ice off, the water's too cold for any insect hatches to occur. So the trout feed on such foods as shrimp or scuds, leeches, water boatmen, back swimmers, chironomid larvae, and juvenile or immature damselfly nymphs, and sometimes even dragonfly nymphs, food sources that have overwintered in the lake. So what we like to start off with early in the year are those big food sources like leeches and shrimp, and then within days of the ice coming off, we'll start to see some chironomid hatches starting to come off. So I'm just going to show you some of the patterns in my box that we're going to be using. Things like leeches in maroon or in black, green leeches, and then we could be switching over and fishing shrimp patterns like those, and then moving up into more leeches, black ones, green ones, and then once the chironomids start hatching, then we start going into the various colors of chironomids that are going to come off throughout the spring months. And there's a wide variety of sizes and colors, different species of chironomids that the trout really literally gorge on, and they make for a very prolonged feeding period during the spring and the early summer months. It's like a fish in the snowstorm. The lake's half frozen, but you get really good fishing at ice off. And we're going to hopefully get this big fish in, and you'll get a look at how big they really are. Oh, I lost them. That was a big fish. Get another one. Well, it's been a tough afternoon on Jocko Lake, but that's early season fishing. We were fighting the weather today, snow squalls, falling barometer, the wind. It got really cold today. I got every piece of clothing that I got in the boat on right now. But I did hook a big fish earlier on in the afternoon, had it on for 3 or 4 jumps. It was big. That's what keeps me coming back. We'll see you next week on another episode of Go Fish BC on Shaw TV.
Freshwater Fishery Society of BC, Go Fish BC on Shaw TV with your host Brian Chan from the Freshwater Fishery Society of BC. Go Fish BC is brought to you in part by Freshwater Fishery Society of BC, River City Marine, and Surplus Herbies.